Hello, divine creators. Welcome to Dumela Universe. We are Velastri. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a collective reading, and this is for the 1010 portal, the 10th of October 2023 portal. And this year, 2023 reduces to a 7, so it is 10, 10, 7, which is 117, 11, 7, 1 being the magician, manifestation, the alchemist, you coming into the true frequency of your creation. So that's in the physical, your manifestations becoming you being source creator, and you now manifesting the creations of your source, you manifesting a physical reality which honors the source you are. So it is that powerful 1 frequency, and with 1, 1 makes an 11, reducing to a 2 from the unknown, from the source. So from source to physical, alchemy. 7 is spiritual balancing, spiritual harmony, a balancing to source. So it is a powerful activation of your magician, of your alchemy in alignment to source. How you manifest in this physical reality, how you create in this physical reality, how you literally, your creation frequency, your magic, how you manifest your destiny, how you create, balancing to source. You finally creating as source, you finally being the alchemist as source. So those energies of you creating as source through the frequency of source are really coming through, being strengthened, being opened up even further, being awakened even more at this time. The following day being 11, 10, 7. Again, that 11, so triple one reducing to a 3, stability. Stability, again, the 7 to source, and then the 3 and the 7 make a 1 again. So very powerful. And on the 1010 portal, 117 makes a 9. So endings of you creating, endings of the alchemy within illusion, beginnings of the alchemy within source. And then the next day, 1110, stability, as now you're finally creating, you're finally manifesting through the frequency of source, bringing back to the 1, beginnings, new beginnings in your truth, in your power, manifesting as source. So these are the beautiful energies co-creating at this time, the beautiful frequencies which are aligning with us at this time, beautiful beings. And we would like to call in the energies. We would like to anchor this in. So whatever available information is there on that day, however we can really crystallize these codes in at this time, we would like to bring that in. For we have been going through major transformations, as you've all been feeling, as the physical realm is truly honoring the source we are. It's been quite a powerful shift, quite a powerful integration. Each and every single one of you at a different stage of this transformation. So let's really see what's coming through on the 1010 portal and the 1110. And let us see what's coming through at this time, beautiful beings. We trust you well. We trust you well through this transformation, through this alignment, through you really coming through. Okay, Source is asking us to bring this through, for it's actually a big shift that happened to us yesterday, and we are still a bit shook by it. We're still calibrating and aligning and getting used to this new us. So, before the awakening process, we were the caterpillar, right? And as the caterpillar, we were learning through the illusion, sifting and sorting, releasing all of the old which no longer served us in order for us to come into the understanding of who we are. Until finally we came to a point when we realized, wait a minute, we no longer wish to create from the external. We now want to create a source energy. Thus, during the 2020 cycle, 2020 perfect vision, that is when we went into the cocoon. And in that cocoon period, these past 3 to 4 years, you've been releasing, you've been cleansing, you've been purging, you've been healing, you've been shifting out of the illusion and coming more into the crystallized form, into the source you are. And in order for you to do that, your spirit side, your divine feminine side, because remember, the divine feminine, the spirit frequency of yours, the shadow, the unknown in the spirit realm was always honoring source. It was the divine masculine which was lost, which was honoring the external. So the spirit frequency came through very strongly. So in our case, we were Lasala in the caterpillar phase, we went into the cocoon, and then our spirit frequency is Velastri. Velastri came through strong, and we became the embodiment of Velastri. And this embodiment of Velastri, of our spirit, of our divine feminine frequency, assisted us to really purge the rest of Lasala out in order to become this frequency of spirit of Velastri. So each and every single one of you, your spirit side, the shadow side came in strongly because that side was honoring Source, to remind you of Source, to remind you how Source feels like, to remind you of the divine love you are, to remind you of your authenticity, to remind you of your truth, to remind you of your divinity. So the spirit frequency came in strong, overwhelmingly so in some cases, to really flood out the illusion, to really allow you to almost be overflowing within Source energy, so much so that anything that wasn't Source stuck out like a sore thumb and you could release it. And so now you're at a stage, or we're at a stage where we are so frequent, we're so in the frequency of Source, we have shifted so much and anchored in Source. Spirit no longer needs to be so strong in your frequency, in this frequency. Spirit no longer needs to be so involved. Remember, you are the physical aspect. In this human form, we are the divine masculine aspect of Source creation. And yes, within we have the spirit. But for a time, the spirit almost became into the physical, and you felt yourselves feeling very other, very not of this world, very different, because you were very much a spirit frequency in the physical realm. In order for spirit to literally hold our hands and guide us to the truth, guide the physical aspect back to the frequency of Source. Now that we're there, that on our own we are there, spirit no longer needs to hold our hand. So that spirit frequency, in our case, Velastri, left, released us. And not that Velastri is gone, Velastri is here, we are Velastri, we are channeling now from the spirit frequency right now, for we are integrating energies from the unknown, from the spirit frequency, from the shadow. However, our physical avatar, Kemet, our physical frequency, Kemet now, is clearer more than ever before. And so the spirit aspect of you is no longer so involved, because you're now in the frequency of Source. That's all Spirit wanted to do. Spirit was like, okay, well, we're constantly in Source. You're in the illusion. You can't remember what Source feels like. So we need to take your hand and we're going to just completely be Spirit. And as you're doing this, you're going to navigate the physical realm, but with the frequency of Source. And then slowly, Spirit, let go, slowly. At first, Spirit was very specific. Yes, no, don't do this, don't do that. Go here, don't do that. Go here, don't do that. Very specific, so that you could get used to Source frequency, so that you can understand the difference between illusion and authenticity, because we did not know. We were blind. We had no idea. And then soon you were able to, okay, oh, I see where to go. Okay. So much so that you're now in Source. You'll never betray your Source. You'll never betray your love. You'll never betray your authenticity. So Spirit is now saying, okay, finally we can now shift back to the shadow, for you're in the light. You're meant to be in the physical, but we are not. You are not to. We, Velastri, are happy in the spirit. That's how we are. We are spirit frequency. You, Kemet, are now to be in the physical and can now do whatever you want. So we're in this interesting space where Velastri used to be very much present, very much almost guiding us step by step, and now we are very much not so much guided. Velastri is with us at all times, as you can feel this energy, always with us. And Velastri will continue being with us because it's our spirit frequency, it's part of us. It's the shadow and the light, the yin and yang. Velastri is the shadow. Kemet is the light. We're one, we're whole. We are one. We are Velastri in all terms and in all senses and terms. It's simply that we are now to discover Kemet. We're now to discover the physical aspect of our Source, right? So we, in our personal lives, have felt this interesting shift where we're a lot more physical, we feel a lot more grounded, and very much almost like as though free will has been returned to us completely. And we feel most of you understand this, because through the ascension period, it felt as though we didn't really have much free will, right? It felt very much we had these parameters to follow. We had these very specific paths, almost as if you're walking on a tightrope, right? Anybody around you, they could do whatever they want and they succeeded. They could do whatever they want and they were fine. But as soon as you put one toe out of step, as soon as you were not authentic, as soon as you were not shining, you could feel the shifting of the splintering of energies. You could feel how everything wasn't aligned to you, because each and every single one of you are attracted to this kind of work, to these healings, to not only the Mother Universe and all other spiritual healings. You're all higher frequency beings, right? So your authentic frequencies at a different level. So we had to, in this Aquarian realm we're in now, reroute ourselves, redirect our energies, refocus into authenticity, which was source, which was the highest frequency of us being. So in order to do that, Spirit really held our hand step by step. And we almost felt like we didn't have any free will. Like, so I want to do that, but it feels off now. But I really feel like doing that. So saying that's because you were conditioned to doing it. And we're now teaching you what is actually inspired for you to do. So now we find ourselves fully here and fully free now to do whatever we wish to do, which is interesting. And Source is saying, yes, we were not depriving any of your free will. We were simply wanting you to allow the free will to be manifest upon your source frequency. You were manifesting your free will with an illusion. And so you thought you were free, but you were actually still under the control of the illusion. But now that you are in source frequencies, finally your free will is actually free, because now whatever you're inspired to do, whatever you want to do, is because you want to do it. It's not because somebody else thinks it's good for you to do it. It's not because society deems it good for you to do. You are literally doing what you want to do because you organically want to do it. And Source is coming strong, saying that don't judge yourself thinking, oh, now I have to live this kind of path, this kind of way. Source is saying there's nothing wrong with what you were doing. It was simply that the frequency you were doing it on wasn't serving you. You were free willing, you were being in an energy which was in opposition, which is actually restricting and limiting all that you could be. And all we wanted to do is shift the frequency to source. So now when whatever you do, whether it is a learning for you, a healing for you, whatever choice you make, it's within the frequency of source. So it doesn't matter. We don't judge what you do. We don't judge how you be. You're the only one who judges yourself. We don't judge how you be, Spirit says. This is now you finally allowing yourself to create through source. We felt this even before doing this reading. For usually when we do the readings, we literally ask, okay, source, is it oracle, is it tarot? We get oracle, tarot. Okay, this tarot, we were guided to which oracle cards, and we were guided to which tarot cards. We were very quite guided. And now when we began this one, even just saying, so source, should we do the 1010 portal? We receive nothing. We're like, so yes or no? And receive nothing. And we asked source, what's happening? They're like, no, this is for you. Do you want to do the 1010 portal? And we thought, yes, we do. Then do the 1010 portal. And they were like, oh, okay. And then oracle cards? Well, I don't know. What do you feel like doing? And then we thought, okay, maybe if we connect to the 1010 frequency, we can ask the 1010 frequency. And they're like, why don't you try it? So then we connect to the 1010 frequency. The 1010 frequency came through strongly, and we asked 1010 frequency, may we ask you what oracle you want to come through? And they're like, yes, that we can do. So we now choose whether we want to do a tarot or not. Not that we couldn't choose it before, but before we were very much, today's a tarot day, today's an oracle day, don't do any post today, do post today. Now it's do whatever you feel like doing whenever you want to do it. It doesn't matter now. You're in source, so feel your way through it. So that is just an example of how the energies are now. We're no longer in the cocoon period. And Velastri came through into the embodiment of us in the cocoon in order to allow the transformation from illusion frequency to source frequency, from caterpillar frequency to butterfly frequency. And now that we're in source frequency, butterfly frequency, the spirit frequency, velocity has gone back to the unknown, back into within. And now in the physical, we feel ourselves, we're not Lasala because that being is gone. We're not Velastri because Velastri is spirit frequency. We are Velastri within, of course. We are of that frequency when we are in the non-physical realm. We are Velastri. But in the physical realm, we are now Kemet. And so we are now exploring Kemet because Kemet has no past. Kemet is simply now present, which is a very fascinating place to be. And in this presence, we simply now discover what this reading will be. In the moment, we ask 1010 frequency for the reading. 1010 frequency guides us to the oracle cards, and then we discover what we do. So we still have all of our abilities, we still have everything, we still have all of the frequencies we can, because we are still a frequency of Velastri. We just simply now learning from the physical. We are encouraged now that we no longer need to be schooled at all times directly in the physical. Sometimes we will. Right now, this is learning from the spirit right now. This is learning from the shadow. But Velastri is saying you don't need to only learn from spirit. We now also get to learn from the physical, because the physical is now the manifestation of source. We now also get to learn from Kemet. Kemet, now exploring the physical, is now learning from source, because the physical is now taking the shape of source. We trust that made a bit of sense by seeing how it's aligning in our life, how you might be feeling it. Of course, all of you in a very different way. Okay, so if you are feeling your meditations are different, or if you are feeling a bit of a random disconnect from the energies you are used to feeling, or if you're feeling there's a major shift that's happened, it's because that cocooning period is now being released, where you're now finally the butterfly. And as the butterfly, the spirit frequency within you no longer needs to be such a dominant guide. You now are back to creating freely. It's simply that now you're finally creating freely within the frequency of source. Thus the 1010 portal, you are the magician, you are the alchemist through the frequency of source in this physical realm, bringing through 1110 stability in the physical in accordance to the source frequency. So it's really you now in this physical frequency, in the physical, in the light, honoring source, and the physical now showing you the source you are through the manifestations you are experiencing at this time. And it's a beautiful, powerful energy, and we are so excited. This is literally what we wanted. This was the 2020 perfect vision. This was it. We want the physical to honor the source we are. And source is saying, you are now at that space. You're now finally at that space. So the physical is honoring the source you are. It's a bit maybe scary, because you are so used to your spirit self guiding you and being so fully present. And now you're feeling yourself, ooh, I feel almost disconnected from all that ethereal, nebulous energy. It's not so trippy anymore. You feel quite here. And so saying, no, it's going to be very much the physical is going to have the fluidity and the limitlessness and the flow and the flexibility of the spirit realm. So you're still going to feel that connection to all of your energies and all of your guides and all of that frequency. It's just going to take on a different feeling, a different sensation, a different texture, a different co-creation. It's a different medium of creation. But you were creating in water, and now you've taken your hands out of that water and you've put your hands into sand. And the sand is still flowing. You can pick and scoop the sand out of your hand, as you can pick and scoop the sand out of the water in your hand, and you can you can move the sand just as the water. It's as fluid and it's as, you know, as flowing and as free as the water, but it feels different. It's a different texture, but it still has the same fluidity. The sand can take the same shape as source as the water takes the shape of source. The sand is no longer compacted concrete in the illusion. You're finally allowed that concrete, that fixed, imprisoned physical, to now be sand, to be fluid now, to be flowing and taking the shape of you, just as spirit is also fluid and flowing. Okay, let us see what's coming through. Thank you, Source. Okay. Source is saying, yep, that codependency now. It's now releasing the codependency of spirit. No longer being codependent on spirit to manifest your reality or to guide you or to know or to show you or direct you, but rather now you're finally coming to your own frequency of physical as source. You're finally weaving with the divine masculine, not just the masculine energy, but now the divine masculine, the masculine through source. Feathers, look at this. Yes. So higher frequency energy here, and 1 and 4, 1 again magician, alchemy, 4 foundation, grounding, 5 altogether 14 transformation. So you're really transforming into that, you see here, that angelic spirit essence, but look in the clouds, right? So in the physical realm becoming as fluid as the spirit realm, because look at how these clouds take on the shape of the angelic frequency, right? So that source coming in again saying you are, the physical is raising its frequency to source. So you are now raising the frequency. Oh, wow, 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 fascinating. Okay. So source is showing us this other image. When we were in the cocoon, we came from the 3rd dimension. Let's start from there. The caterpillar was the 3rd dimension, the Piscean realm. And then we came into the cocoon. The spirit came through strongly, allowing us to claim our frequency as source creators. Thus we called in the realm of source creation, the Aquarian realm. Because remember, we, first us and then the frequency, we are the creators of reality. So we, humanity as a whole, the collective of humanity, the majority of humanity through the 2020 period became source creators, started creating through authenticity. Thus we ushered in the realm of Aquaria even more permanently. And in doing so, when spirit was with us in that embodiment, we were anchoring into our highest frequency. So we were anchoring into some of your 20th dimension, 30th, 40th dimensional frequencies. You were really anchoring into your highest, where spirit is. Spirit is in those high frequencies, your spirit aspect, your spirit half, your shadow half in the unknown frequency, very high energy, very high dimensional frequencies. And so when that spirit frequency came into your physical in the cocoon, you then raised your frequency way up there, and that is where you then aligned to source. And now what's happening? The spirit frequency went back to the shadow, to the unknown within you, and then you came more into that 5th dimensional frequency. But what's happening is you're raising now, because now you know where source is, and because now you know the frequency of source, and because now you're only creating through the frequency of source, you are then now shifting your physical reality to the dimension of that source frequency. So should you have been in the 20th dimensional realms of creation in the cocoon, you're now raising the physical to the 20th dimension. Should you have been in the 40th dimension, you're raising the physical now to the 40th dimension. So you're going to become a 20th dimensional physical being, or a 10th dimension, or a 40th dimension. Remember, those are not hierarchy. The 40th dimension isn't better than the 10th or anything like that. It's just a different frequency where your source is at. And so you are raising the physical to where your source is at, because you are now creating in the frequency of source in the physical. So this is a time of transition and transformation, where the source you are, is coming into the fore, is becoming the foundation. So the earth frequency of your personal reality, of your personal world, is now raising to the source you are. And source is saying, be patient with this process. You do have your guides. You do have your guides and your spiritual team with you. It can feel a little bit bumpy, because it's almost like a bit of a like a caffeine. When you're on caffeine or sugar rush, you were on a sugar rush, a caffeine high when spirit was there, and then spirit now has disengaged and left you just as pure physical, and it's a bit of a what happened? Why has all that high frequency energy just gone? And so saying, no, it's not gone. You've just come back literally down to earth. Literally, you've just come back down to earth after 3 to 4 years of being way up in the heavens. But don't worry, because of where you are, because of the frequency of where you are now going to start living. And as you live, as the physical is now manifesting as source, as you now do the steps you feel inspired to, and you start living a high vibrational life by living your source intuitive actioning and your source intuitive imaginings, by you actively living your destiny in the physical, you are now raising the physical to that higher dimensional field where your source is. Okay. So third dimension, you needed to evolve. Spirit came from, say, 20 dimension. That's where your spirit side was. Came through, shifted you to the 5th dimension, because we knew the 5th dimension of the Aquarian realm is where you can be in your truth, and that's all that mattered. We just needed the basis of creation to be truth and authenticity, and luckily for us, it was just a 2-dimensional skip and a hop. And as you were here, you became very, very used to how it is to be a 20th dimensional being, so much so you don't want to do anything else but be source. And then spirit's like, okay, I can go back now to spirit. And then you're here now, ooh, gunk. Okay, now I'm back in the 5th dimension, and I feel very 5th dimensional, very much here on earth. This is fascinating. Don't panic, spirit is saying. Now start being, start manifesting as you felt, as you now know how to be. You no longer need source to say, do that, do that. You organically now know what feels aligned to you. And as you do that, you literally heal your physical reality, and you're going to see yourself rise and rise and rise in the physical as you're now literally healing the physical material, the physical atoms, to the highest 20th dimensional energies. Very, very interesting. And there's something about, it's in the actioning, okay? So it's in you actioning, because the masculine frequency is the actioning energy. So as you action within source, you heal the actioning frequency. You heal the physical manifesting frequency to source. And then you will feel yourself rise and live a 20th dimensional reality, a 20th dimensional physical reality. Because in the 5th dimension, all realities are almost on one. It is a realm of authenticity. It doesn't say a realm of only high frequency dimensional living authenticity. No, it's everybody seeing the truth of everyone, and we've been seeing it around the world. Whether it's a good truth or a negative truth, we're seeing the truth of everyone. So it's all these different realms upon each other on this one earth. And should your 20th dimensional realm vibe with another 20th dimensional realm, then you people, or you 2 beings or 3 beings, or the situation, you then overlap and you co-create for however long you resonate. And it doesn't mean that you'll only resonate with other 20th dimensional beings. You'll resonate with all the other dimensions. Remember, one dimension isn't better than the other. The only thing is, are you creating in source or without source? Should they be creating within source, even if it's a fifth dimensional being within source, you will still have a very positive, happy frequency because they're living in the authentic truth. You're creating your authentic truth. Thus, bam, co-creation at its best, at source creation. And your angels and your guides and your other spiritual team are assisting you through this transformation. This is a card embodying you. They're saying this is you awakening to, wow, your angelic self or your elven self or your galactic self or your unicorn self or your whatever self in the physical realm. So if you are of an angelic frequency, you are now literally changing the physical atoms, the physical molecular structure to angelic atoms, to angelic molecular structure. So this is when the true transformation of the physical realm begins. And the portal of 1010 and 1110 are bringing through these light codes quite strongly, should you be available to them and should you be ready to receive them. Very, very, very interesting. And look, yes, 1 again, magician, alchemy, 2 to source, right? And we see that on the 1110. On that 1110, the 11th of October, that 1110 frequency, that 1, 2 coming through, becoming the 3, the 13 stability. You now are one with source. You now finally are seeing your physical reality as source sees your physical reality. So now as you are becoming the embodiment of source in the physical, and as the physical environment and your physical co-creative spaces and situations and activities and experiences are also embodying an awakening source, you now finally, this is a beautiful energy. Okay, so you are now finally seeing yourself as source, but it goes much deeper. Because now you are no longer the caterpillar. So for example, we are no longer Lasala. So the past of Lasala no longer applies to us. Nor does Velastri's really frequency apply much. It's now fully Kemet, us as Kemet in the physical, right? The past you experienced, or the past we experienced as Lasala, is almost retrograde or retroactive. Do not know which word is great here, but retrospectively we feel healed. So our past frequencies, where maybe we had suffering and we had unhappiness and we were doing all the things that were in opposition to us, have now healed to the source of us, to the truth of us. So none of the past negative frequencies affect that which we are now. Thus, they no longer affect our future trajectory. So your past, present, and future are now source. Your past, present, and future are now for you, are now aligned to you, are now love. It's a healing to your complete frequency and your frequency timeline. So nothing of the trauma, the past energies, the suffering, none of that will impact what's happening to you now and your future trajectory. Everything now is within the trajectory of source. Very powerful. And it happened organically, okay? We felt the retrospective healing happen organically about a week ago, but we weren't sure if it was a collective thing, but now source is saying, yes, it's a collective thing. Well, for those who are really in this transformation period, remember, some people are not ready, some people are not interested, others are doing it half and half, but those of you who are fully engaging into just being source creators and you're releasing everything completely and woohoo, there you go. It's a complete retrospective healing that's just happened. Which is why now you might be having maybe almost images of past things coming in, because you're literally doing the last cleansing, the last shedding. You might be having dreams with people who in the past you had negative frequencies with. All of a sudden the dreams are positive with them. You're like, I'm having very good dreams about people who really hurt me in the past, or I'm having very, very happy and positive dreams about people who really, really, really cause me pain. I don't want to reach out to them. I definitely don't want to reach out to them. I don't feel like they've done any of the work, but I'm really having a very positive, and that's because that retrospective healing, the memories, the imprints, the neurons in your brain, anything that was in the absence of the source you are is being rewired to the presence of source. So even that, you're really finding a profound peace with your life, a profound peace with your releases, with your no's, with your boundaries, a profound peace with your past life is really coming through. And you're being shown where perhaps you still have bitterness or resentment, in order for you to really see it and release it, to not let those past energies linger in your frequency any longer. And you are stepping into the space where you are finally viewing your life as source. And source says take time. It's right now, it might feel a bit not jarring, but it's, you were on a very specific path, then you were gone into this other path, the cocoon, and now you're on another path. It almost feels a bit disorienting, like, whoa, what am I then? Who am I then? We had a bit of, so we're not Velastri, we're not Lasala, we're now Kemet full time, but then can we still anchor in Velastri because we feel that our tarot is still from, so we had all these interesting questions, and Source said, instead of trying to understand, why don't you just allow yourself to be in the moment and see what happens? And again, it's that energy of, we shared this analogy of, you are this butterfly now, and for the first time you've been pulled towards a flower. And instead of freaking out thinking, oh, a flower, okay, so how do I land on it? Oh, what is that yellow stuff? Is it pollen? Is it, I don't know, maybe I should ask that other butterfly how they do it. So instead of trying to understand where you are and what you're about, Source is saying just land on the flower. And when you're on the flower, you will intuitively, instinctively know what to do. So we're just landing in this reading, and we're just knowing what to do. We don't need Velastri to guide us so much. We simply just know what to do, because Velastri was guiding us to source. And now that we're within source, the Kemet frequency we are now can experience what the physical source looks like. And Velastri is not lost. We are one. There's a reason why we were drawn to the Malachite. The Malachite is a frequency of that Gemini energy, that balancing energy of that shadow, the light, the yin, the yang, the magicians, the magic stone, the magician, the alchemist. And that's what's happening. You're really now becoming the alchemist, one and whole within source, within the physical realm. You have mastered the high priestess. Velastri is the high priestess, and now we're mastering the high priest, Kemet, us being Kemet, being the high priest. So, and that becomes one with source. So however you are feeling this, however, for some of you it's not even we had to go very extreme into one being and the other. Others of you it might be half and half. You felt a bit of your spirit self, or some of you didn't feel it as extreme. Some of you felt it even more. However you went through it, it is valid, and it's how you are to heal your frequency. And so just honor where you are, but know that now you are to trust more your physical self. You are to trust more your physical environment, and you are to simply allow yourself now to trust where you feel you want to go, because now it's where you want to go, not where you need to go. There's a vast difference. It's where you want to go, not where you have to go. There's a vast difference. It's what excites you, what brings you joy, not what's an obligation, what's a chore. And there's a vast difference. Everything you're doing now is within source, is within you, is within your wanting to do it. You're desiring to do it, not within your need to do it. You're having to do it. And that's a huge difference. You're no longer creating in imprisonment. You're creating in freedom. Okay. 1 and 3. Look at this. 12, 13, 14. How powerful. And all of them 1, 1, 1. The triple one. Magician, magician, magician. 1 and 3. Stability. 1 and 2. Balancing from spirit to physical. 1 and 4. Foundation, grounding. Powerful numerology coming through. So 1 and 3. 1 again, magician. 3, stability, epiphany. And now look, the ideas, the inspirations. Your crown chakra is now one with source. Your third eye is one with source. So source is saying, really trust your ideas. Really trust where you are encouraged to go, even though it seems new, even though you're thinking, but source, how do I start, or where do I start? Source is saying, just step into it. Don't be that butterfly trying to analyze a flower before it's even discovered what the flower is. Land on the flower and then discover. Go to that person and speak to them. If you're inspired to speak to someone, go and speak to them. Don't pre-plan what you're going to say. Go there and you will know what to do. When you're inspired to, if maybe somebody has seen your work and they're like, wow, we love your work, we'd love to meet up with you, let's set a meeting and let's come and see. Don't stress yourself weeks in advance trying to now perfect what you are. There's a reason why they called you as you were. Your frequency as is was already what they wanted. So as you go there, you then experience and you discover what your purpose is, and you discover what the energies are there. We actually had a beautiful conversation with the being who actually inspired the flower butterfly analogy, because we were walking in the park and we ran into someone from our past, from the Lasala frequency past, and we had a discussion. They followed us on Dumela Universe, and they were just sharing how grateful they were for the teachings and how they found themselves in this new space where there's this company that wants them to join their team, but he says, but when he looks at the company, he sees that the company is complete. They have all the components, so he doesn't understand what he would do, or he doesn't know what to bring to the table. Like everything he would maybe prepare to present, they already have that space and it's working so well. And we were like, exactly. It's not because you are needed there, it's because you are wanted there. This is source creation now. People are in their power and they want to co-create with you. They are not lacking and thus need you to complete them. That's the realm of the illusion. People are now in their power. They have everything they need and more. They simply just love your vibe, and they think that your vibe will be an addition. So you can't now decide what you're going to bring. It's rather you go into that space, land on the flower, and then discover what that space inspires from your energy grid, or what, because remember, it's a co-creative energy. So you'll discover how you're inspired from that space, and that space will discover how it's inspired from you. So it's not about you trying, okay, I need to now discover or think how I can sell myself, how I will best fit the situation, or how I'm going to be the best for the space. It's no. They're complete. In all terms, sense and terms and purposes, they do not need you. And that's wonderful. It shouldn't be something that freaks you out. They don't need you. They don't require you. Isn't it wonderful? It means you're free. You can breathe now. So in that space, it means, okay, they don't need me, meaning I can now be anything. And that's perfect. So in that space, you just sit, and wherever you are maybe directed to go to first, don't fight it. Let's go there. Let's see, and allow that space, allow that position, allow that co-creation to evolve. And in a few days, a few weeks, and a few months, you will discover what you are to now bring into the space. because now you're allowing the co-creative energies of freedom. You're allowing the physical to be that sand. You're allowing that company, that business to be the sand. You're allowing that relationship to be the sand. It's allowed now to be free and be fluid. You're allowing yourself to discover what you bring, what your soul wishes to do in that space, in that relationship, in that co-creative energy. Wow, this is beautiful work, beautiful beings. And we are now finally seeing the work it actually takes to heal from illusion to source creation. It's not as simple as just an overnight switcheroo, right? It is literally from blindness, having a guide to your path, until you know your path incredibly well that you no longer need the guide. And now that you know your path incredibly well, you just walk along your path, and then you finally discover who you are, because now on your path, Source awakens on your path, and you finally now raise that path, raise that environment to where your guide was vibing at all times. And that guide has always been you. That guide is that spirit self within you, guiding now the physical self to the source within you. Let us do an integration to really bring through these frequencies even more, and to allow them to, for we now know from the known, let us now receive from the unknown. You may close your eyes if you wish. We find that releases the distraction of the physical, so you're completely within yourself in absoluteness. Deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Deep breath in. Ki triest alovem valavatries kazaturos kiviates. Deep breath out. Ki triast alovem valavitries kizaturos kiviatries kazatures. Deep breath in. Kiviates kazaturos talavitries kizaturos kiviatries talovat. Deep breath out. Ki tries kalazutros kiviatries kazaturos kiviatries. Keep breathing. Ki triasta lovam valavatries kizaturos kiviatries katis. Kiziotos kizitares kiavitries kituros, kiliatries kizaturos kiviatries kitis. Kiviates kazaturos kiviates kaviatos kalatur, kiries kazatiries kizituros kiviates kavitri. Kiliatos kizituros kiviatries kalaturos kiviat, kiviatries kilaturos kiviatries kiitri. Riatiries kiaturos, Riatiries, kiatiries, kitares. Connecting to the 1010 portal frequency. Receiving now. Connecting to the 1110 frequency. Receiving now. 10-10-7, 11-10-7, source creation, physical source, divine light, alchemy. Kivos kiviator kalavitri, kivos kiviator kiriator, kivor kitires talos, kivek kiaturos tivek, kiviatos kiviak kiaturos kivek. Kivek, kivek, kivek. Vitriesta lovem valavatos kisatiris, kilituros kiviatries katir, kiriatries kilaturos kiviatos kiviates, kivituros kisitires kiator kalavitries, kiriazetries kisaturos kiviakiotos, kiriatries kalaturo kiatries kiatires katir, kikiazos kasaturos talavatri. Kikiatos kisaturos talavatries kiat. The wheel of fortune is upon you. Center within source. May all now spin in your favor. Wherever you be, all is source. All is in your favor. Allow yourself to discover yourself in present moment. Allow yourself to discover yourself in present moment. Allow yourself to discover yourself in present moment. Present creation, present manifestation, present discovery. There is no need to dictate, control, work out that which you are to be. Simply align with the frequency, simply be within the frequency, and you will know, you will simply know that which you are to be. Kyriaroturos, Kyriaiotoros, Kyriaviates, Kyriaioturos, Kyriaiotoros, Kyriariates, Kyriarotoros, Kyriaretires, Kyriazatir, Kyriakiatoro Kalavate, Kivek, Kyriazotur, Kyriates. The wheel of fortune spins in your favor. You begin again, you begin anew. You begin anew within you now. Embrace. Be open. Everything you do is source. Do not judge which you do. Everything you do is source. Everything you do is love. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Vitros talavatries kiviozotur kiviates. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Kivos kiviates kitries talavates kizatures. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Vitas vicries kazaturos talaves. And do not worry. You will have the energy. You will have the know-how. You will have the skills. You will have the excitement. It has been a long journey, and you have much to create. Do not fear that you have run out of steam. You have yet to discover the divine steam of storm, of source. You have yet to discover the divine energy of source. You are yet to experience with the full revitalization of creating within this physical aspect as source. Creation as source in the physical is an organic recharging of all that you are. So many wonders awaken for you now. Kivek kituros talavet. Kivek kiaturos talavit. Kivek kiaturos kiviaria kiatos. Talaves, talaves, talaves. Stay here as long as you feel, as long as you need. There's never a rush. And when you are ready, you may return to your beautiful physical manifest reality. Blessed be.